morning. Peace to everybody. Sisters, how y'all feel? Brothers, y'all all right? All right, cool. I need everybody to do one important thing. There's something I want to talk about today, and I think everybody needs to learn or relearn how to do this. So let's just say life is like a big house, right? And in these houses, you got all these different rooms. What's the one thing that you're supposed to do every single time you leave the room? So in case you don't know that, whenever you leave out of a room, what you're supposed to do is close the door behind you. Got it? Close the door behind you. That's what you're supposed to do. Example, at work, we have a door. And if you don't close the door behind you, there's a big alarm that comes on and it buzzes nonstop until somebody comes and shuts the door. That's something I'll get into another day. But some of you are harboring a lot of things from back then. That room that you walked out of represents back then. All that hurt, all that pain, all that anguish, all that bitterness, all that sadness, all that disappointment, all that hate, you're harboring it. However, some of you fail to realize is you are in another room. You're in a completely different room. You might be in a different state that represents your different room. You might be at a different mind state that represents your different room that you're in. However, some of you still left the door open. And much like when you leave the door open to another room, you still got access to that other room. And the people or things that are in that room have access to you. So what you have to remember to do is to go back and close the door. You ever notice, like, when you're taking a test in the room and you leave out of that room and then you just happen to be standing there talking to somebody and you notice, like, somebody in the room, you feel them looking at you and you turn around, they are looking at you, and that gives them leeway to do, hey, come here for a minute, come in right quick. If you had closed that door, you wouldn't even need to look back and you wouldn't be drawn back to go in that room to see what they want. So what I'm trying to tell you is, some of you need to go back and close the door. For whenever you go back, you leave access to all of that hurt, all of that pain, all that bitterness, all that anguish, all that sadness, all of it. But if you just close the door behind you when you leave the room, you don't have access to it anymore and it can't get to you. You understand? It's very symbolic. So all I want you all to remember is to, whenever you leave out of the room, no matter what your room represents, close the door behind you. All of that is mandatory in order for you to progress and proceed so that you can get to the next level of your life. Go back. Close the door behind you. Don't let stuff still be able to get to you because you forgot to seal it off. Close the door behind you. All right? It's Motivation Monday. Let's go.